All right, folks, welcome back to Kings of Opinion, episode 94. And the Super Bowl and the NFL season are over and done with. Guys, well, first I should say I forgot to introduce who else is with me. You got the Wander as usual, and Big Ern is back in town in the saddle.
Hello.
Hope everybody's doing well.
So I don't know. Well, first off, let me ask you this, Wander, because you said last week that you weren't going to watch the whole football game.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen?
Yep, and you know what? It was pretty much over at the half anyway. So, and I kind of felt that way, as it was progressing. So I said, "Oh, you know what? This is actually going to work out." It's unfortunate that it wasn't really a game because at bare minimum you just want at least a good game.
Right.
But it was not the case, and the Chiefs picked a hell of a game to have their first, completely terrible performance.
All the way around, too. I was thinking about you, like, in the third quarter. I'm like, he better not still be watching this game.
But then again, too, all respect due to Philly, they were getting after the quarterback without even blitzing.
Yeah.
And that both of their lines are great, and they've been great all year, and they got it done.
Yeah.
Without the help of the officials, we saw what the Chiefs really were.
Right.
Which at first, when what happened, like right from Jump Street, right? Didn't A.J. Brown have a long ass reception, and then they called offensive pass interference? I'm like,
you're like, here we go.
Where the fuck we go?
But no, they let them play. It looked like that.
Well, after that, I think they probably got a couple of calls in their earbuds that said, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" And right away after that, I think they called a couple of series later, so there was a kind of a bullshit call that they called
Philly
against.
Actually got
that went for the Philly. So it was like, all right, they got the message, and then after that, like you said, it didn't seem like there was anything.
I mean, to me, it was more of the Chiefs' offensive line just not showing up. I could have swore they had a good offensive line, but at least better than what they showed there.
A shit ton of sacks, right?
I think it was 6 sacks, but not. The Eagles didn't blitz not once.
And pressure every time, pretty much.
And some of the people were saying that there was one, I think, offensive holding call on one of the linemen, and it threw their whole offensive line out of whack after that. And I was like, okay, I don't remember too much of the game, to be fair, because I was just running around at Fallon's all day and night. But to get off to 24-0, and it wasn't even halftime yet, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a terrible game. And for the Chiefs, it was and I was bored by I didn't watch the halftime show. I barely watched the third and fourth quarter. I was just more into hanging out than watching the Super Bowl, which was sad because the only other game I could remember being that boring was the Patriots Rams game when it was 13-3. But at least it was still close. That was boring in another way, but it wasn't a blowout. So you knew if you had to watch the game because you're only down 10 points.
Yeah.
But other than that, this has got to be, and it sucks for the Chiefs too. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not feeling sorry for them.
No, I don't feel sorry for them. Did I want to see them win and see a history? Yes. Now that that's over, who cares? Now next year I want to root for someone completely different, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Get a whole bunch of new teams in there would be great.
Detroit, Buffalo.
Yeah, or anything. Detroit, anything really. But it's gonna be hard to knock Philly off next year if they still have the same team come back.
And from what you're hearing, there's probably not going to be much change because I think one, they're very young. Two, everybody's I think pretty much under control.
Yeah, then I don't think their team's gonna change much.
Yeah,
if not get better, if they got to replace some guys.
Philly repeat.
Yeah, so you almost have to look at who in the AFC can beat them.
What's worse, Philly back to back, or Chiefs would have won the third straight? I don't know now.
Yeah, see, exactly. And the funny thing with like, especially Patrick Mahomes having such a bad Super Bowl. Because what did he have? Like, did he have 2 or 3 interceptions? I think
It's 2 for sure.
Yeah, I think it was 2. I think you might be right. I wasn't sure if he had a
I
third.
mean, I saw 2. I don't
Yeah.
know if he had any in the second half.
Well, then maybe he did have to. I'm not sure, but either which way, he was so bad. But like you said, he was getting pressured. It's almost like what you saw from both the Giants and the Eagles playing against Tom Brady. When you disrupt their timing and have him running around in the pocket, you're not going to be as good of a quarterback, unless you're amazing.
No matter who you are.
Right. And you're going to lose that game. And then after the Super Bowl, people are talking about, I guess the conversation of him being better than Tom Brady, that's over and done with. I don't know about that, to be fair. Like, a lot of Tom Brady's Super Bowls were won when he was, like, in his late 30s and 40s. So, Patrick Mahomes has done something that even the great Tom Brady didn't do. He's been to 7 straight AFC Championship games, and he's been to 5 Super Bowls in 7 years.
Yeah, he's only played 7 years.
Right, which is crazy, no matter what you want to say about the refs and this, that, and the other thing. And yes, he didn't look good in this Super Bowl, but I don't think they're going anywhere. You still have Patrick Mahomes. They're still going to be a good team,
Yeah.
Is Kelsey retiring?
Well, now all of a sudden, I guess before the Super Bowl, the days leading up to it, he said he's got plenty of football in him. He wants to play a few more years. Now all of a sudden this morning I heard on the radio that he's undecided. He's got to think about things.
Well, it's funny you say that too, because I read something today that the Chiefs are giving him till March 14th to make up his mind, which is funny because I don't know if he's under contract or not, nor does it really matter, but if he was saying he has a couple more years left and now he's coming back, it means the Kansas City Chiefs aren't really, like, the office isn't really playing games. They're like, we need to know now because we want to prepare for the draft. We don't want to worry about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So they're kind of putting the screws to him a little bit. So we'll know, in a few weeks whether or not he's going to come back. Now, to be fair, he really didn't have a great season anyway. So if he doesn't come back, that's really, to me, not really a concern. If I was them, I'd really worry about their offensive line next year.
Yeah.
Because I saw a bunch of their games and no one really did what Philly did to that offensive line.
They got to figure out their receiving situation too.
A little bit. You got to remember what was his name? Rashid Rice. He was out the whole year. He was their number 1 wide receiver. And I know it was garbage touchdowns, but Xavier Worthy looked good in the Super Bowl. I know he had at least one garbage touchdown.
He's essentially their best receiver right now. This year was their best receiver. I mean, they signed Hopkins, which seemed like it was a pretty sexy thing, but he absolutely did nothing. Like, not even any activity, really.
No, I mean, he was like hit and miss like he was with the other team. I forget who he even came from.
Titans.
No, he was originally with the...
After the Titans, he went to... who the hell did he go to? Was it Atlanta or something like that?
No.
Where did he go to after...
I don't know. Either which way, he was the same kind of player he was for that team that he was for Kansas City. Like, every once in a while, make a catch, maybe grab a touchdown every couple weeks or whatever. But, I think if you lose Kelsey, maybe you pick up a tight end somewhere in the draft and you go from there.
Yeah, but I think the end is coming near for them. Jones on defense, he's no spring chicken. So I think you're going to start seeing the tides changing. I think it's going to be Buffalo's turn now for the next few years.
I don't know, man. I think Kansas City, the way they're moving, I think they'll just revamp. Because unless you tell me Andy Reid's retiring, I don't think he's there to lose. So
no, I know, but realistically, how many more years do you see Andy Reid being around? I mean, he's not a spring chicken either.
No, but I mean, it could easily be 5 or plus years.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you ride Patrick Mahomes' coattails for as long as you can? Because he's young. He's only 28, I think.
Yeah. Mahomes has still got plenty of years left.
Of course. So why wouldn't you, you know? I feel like that's an automatic checkbook. Like, Andy, do you want to keep coaching? Here's another 3 years, $15 million, have at it. Whatever you want to give him, I think this Super Bowl hurt Andy Reid more than anything because he really wanted to shove it to Philly because he used to work for Philly.
Yeah.
So I think Kansas City definitely wants to get back next year. They just got to figure out a smart way to build their team now. Because now you saw that this was actually a good thing for them, in my opinion. Because now you saw you can't beat everybody all the time. And now you have to adjust your roster to figure out how you're going to play teams in the NFC, Because obviously they already know how to beat everyone in the AFC. They went 15-1 and then ran through everybody for the most part. I mean, I know they had help with calls here and there, but they still got to win those games on their half.
That's the difference. They didn't run through anybody this year. We got a clear picture of what it looked like without getting any calls to help out.
Yeah, agreed. But their front office has got to be as good as anybody else's to make.
Of course, I mean you can't just disregard everything that they've been doing the last 7 years.
And they built such a culture over there. I don't think they want to see that disappear anytime soon.
And they're one of the wealthiest teams in the league too. So
yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of stinks because I was having this conversation with somebody at work, and they're like, I don't know if they'll be able to sign so many guys because Patrick Mahomes makes all that money. And I'm like, Patrick Mahomes makes $45 million. I know that's a lot of money, but you got like at least 10 quarterbacks that make more than him.
Yeah, well, I'm sure his contract will get redone soon.
Yeah, but it was, what was it, a 10-year deal?
Doesn't matter. They'll redo it because they all want to be the top guy, the top paying guy. I don't know if he would care. I think he'd rather win Super Bowls than make $60-70 million. He shouldn't need to care because I'm sure he's already got more than he's ever going to be able to spend as it is.
And he's also a part owner now of the Royals. Well, he has been for a few years now. So I don't know if he might just ask for another contract when it's done and then want to make more money. I don't know if he'll try to rework his deal. Nor do I really care. All I'm saying is the Chiefs should have plenty of money to get some better guys in there.
Yeah, that's why I don't think Kelsey's coming back. You see what retirement did for his brother. Can you imagine what it's going to do for him?
Oh yeah, forget about it.
He's gonna make 3 times more money retired than he is playing.
It's funny that you say that though, because they mentioned that, not directly like from his brother, but someone was saying, I don't remember where I heard it. It was probably on the radio, but they were saying that Hollywood is not going anywhere. You could still play football and milk the NFL gravy train for a couple more years if you wanted to, and then leave, and then do Hollywood or whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get Fox calling you up and saying, "Dude, we're going to give you a 10-year, $70 million a year contract," like some bullshit like
Tom
Brady got.
Right.
You think he's gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna wait a couple of years"? No.
Right. Well, I guess only time will tell. We got till March 14th, I said.
Mm-hmm.
So we should find out soon. Anyone hitting any of their pools? You didn't do any pools, did you?
No.
I found out today I had hit a touching box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that Paulie's pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hit 2 touching boxes. That about does it for Paul's pool once again. I swear I can never win that guy's pool, anything big in that guy's pool.
I couldn't even get a toucher box.
That's funny. I did win Rita's halftime, which is a nice little pretty penny. It saved me like a bad showing for the Super Bowl, so that was good. But other than that, whatever. One of these years, I would like to win like a significant amount of money on the Super Bowl. I don't know what year that is, but every year I sit here and I think, man, things are tight. This has got to be my year. This has got to be my year. and every year I'm disappointed. So I don't really know what's.
And then it's gonna get to a point where that 1 year when you do hit, you'll still be down.
Correct, 100%. It'll be like, oh great, what's this gonna do for me now? I could have used that 2 years ago, you know. There's not too much news, I guess, right now for the NFL besides like just
How about your Jets?
rumors. Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I was gonna allude to. Like, the Jets spoke to Aaron Rodgers last week and gave him like a little bit of a rundown of like, we don't want you doing the McAfee show, and you got to show up to training camp and all this stuff. And then this week, they just say they're gonna go in another direction. So now the cap hit is, I guess, pretty substantial. It's like $40-something million, but it's weird, right?
Yeah, so I was just reading it before actually. They said if they were to release him outright right now, it would be full hit 45 million.
Right.
Whereas if they wait till, I guess it's that March date you're talking about, the same thing. If they wait till that date to release him, then the net result is going to be they'll save like $9.5 million because it goes down to like 23 million because they're going to do it in like 2 stages or something like that. And then basically if they wait till that date, which I believe is what you're talking about, March 13, March 16, something like that, it's gonna cost them like 23 million, and they'll end up saving like 9.5 million to what it would have cost.
Okay, so that's not bad. You could sign somebody for $9.5 million, I guess, right? For something, I don't know.
But the question is what they're gonna do for quarterback.
Right, like I don't necessarily agree with this, but I guess Aaron Glenn is making a statement, which I can't.
Justin Fields is gonna end up being your quarterback.
You think so? I don't know. I kind of thought they would have been better with just keeping Rodgers for one more year and trying to find somebody in the draft, like a sneaky quarterback.
Yeah, but who knows? Like if it's true that they said to him like, "You're done with the McAfee show. You're done with all this nonsense." They might be saying, "Yeah, we decided to part ways with them," but it might have been him saying, "I'm not doing any of that." So
Yeah,
if you got a problem with it, then see you later.
yeah. You're probably, that could very well be.
And
something
they're
happening.
not going to tell you that because then they're not going to want to hear the fans complaining that, "Oh, you told them he could be on the McAfee show. Now we don't have a quarterback." You know.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, eventually, if that's the case, that'll eventually get leaked out. That's for sure. But we really don't even know if Rodgers is going to play anywhere this year either.
Right. Right.
So it would be kind of funny though if he goes to Pittsburgh.
I was just going to say, does Pittsburgh take a stab at him?
I mean, he's got to be better than Russell Wilson, and I think Russell Wilson's a free agent too, right?
You know, then, does that end up being a swap of quarterbacks? Because what are the options? It's going to be Justin Fields, Russell Wilson,
Jameis Winston,
Jameis Winston.
and they get worse from there. Like, there's not a lot of. You got Kirk Cousins too. That's probably on his way out.
I forgot about him. That's who's probably going to be.
Our quarterback?
Yeah. Either Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields, if I had to take a guess. But, like, why wouldn't you take a shot at Cousins?
I agree with you.
I mean, I'd much rather have him than any of the other ones we're talking about.
100%. His only question is, was he ever fully healthy this year? Because, we saw Aaron Rodgers in the beginning of the year look terrible.
But here's the deal. I know it looks messed up and stuff, but what were they going to do with him? They drafted Penix very high, so they were going to have to go to him eventually. So, Cousins wasn't in the long-term plans to begin with there. So whether he was healthy or unhealthy, it doesn't really matter.
Well, the funny thing about Kirk Cousins is he's never really, been long-term plans for anybody. If you think about it, he started with Washington with RG3.
Yeah.
RG3 kind of won that out for a little bit, then got hurt, then Cousins was good enough to play there. Then he went to Minnesota, played there for a few years. He's been bouncing around.
Yeah.
So Yeah, like he would be.
The thing is that he's produced everywhere he
Yeah,
went.
like he's normally a good offensive player. Last year, and the thing is if he wasn't completely healthy yet, which he had the same injury as Aaron Rodgers, and you saw in the beginning of the year, like the first, let's just say 3 months, Rodgers looked off or whatever, and he was banged up, and everyone's been saying he's banged up. Maybe the same thing with Kirk Cousins. The only difference is Rodgers had to play through it because we had nobody else. And like you said, to your point, and the Falcons had Penix. They're like, we're just going to throw this kid in there.
Yeah.
And then you never saw Kirk Cousins again.
Yeah. Listen, once Penix got in there, regardless of the situation, whether it was an injury or it was just a bad game, so they put him in there to spell him, he was never coming back out.
Right.
He was their future. He was
Agreed.
Their plan. So
100% agree, which makes me think, I don't know how old Kirk Cousins is. Maybe he's like 36, 37. But he's got to have something left in the tank, I would assume.
yeah,
You know?
you're not looking for your future quarterback.
No. I mean, we need to do that too, honestly, because it'd be nice to have a franchise quarterback for once.
Let's see. I mean, what's this guy's name that they drafted last year in the 5th round or 6th round? That's their second quarterback right now on the roster after Tyrod Taylor.
Is it like Jordan Travis or something like that?
Something like that.
Oh, the Florida State guy?
Yes. Like supposedly, like he's really good. It's just that he had a serious injury his last year there, right?
Yeah.
But who knows? Like apparently he's like really good, like really talented.
Well, he got drafted anyway late in that season,
Right.
so in the draft. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that guy will come around. Maybe he'll learn something. It's only him and Tyrod Taylor as of right now that are on the Jets roster as quarterbacks. So I don't know. The new Jets have to figure it out. I'll tell you that, because otherwise we're gonna go through the same stuff for another couple more years.
It's just I mean, I'm not a Jet fan, but I would hope for Jets that they don't get stuck with the Justin Fields. I'd much rather see a 2 years. You're basically trying the same thing you tried with Rodgers, like a couple of years stopgap, right? And I think you can't go wrong with Cousins.
No, I mean, it's worth the shot, especially if you're not really going to have to pay him a lot either. Like, just bring him in and, I wouldn't, I'll even say, don't even say he's the starter right away. I'd see what's going on in training camp and the preseason and see what's going on. I mean, this guy, Jordan Travis,
not for anything. If you really think about it, you could use Tyrod Taylor as your 2-year stopgap, really. I mean, the guy's been in the league long enough. He's got enough experience. He shows that he can play, I guess.
His problem is he always gets hurt.
Yeah.
So if you just go with him, then who do you got next?
Right.
Like, he's good for a backup. You know what I mean? And even then, when he was with the Giants, he got hurt in the same game as the other Daniel Jones getting hurt, and they were both out.
Right.
So, you got to be careful with him. If he was a little more healthy, I would say, that's not terrible either, because he had decent, when he was a starter, if he didn't get, these weird injuries sometimes, he had a lot of decent games and everything.
Buffalo, he had some great games.
Even with the Chargers, and then he got hurt and whatever. There was something weird that happened to him with San Diego. I can't remember what it is. Something with some kind of shot or something. Vaguely remembering, but I don't remember what it was. But it was weird. And then he left there and he's been a backup ever since. But I don't know. It's tough. I like to see what they're gonna do. I like to see what they're gonna draft. Same thing with the Cowboys. They got a lot of work to do too.
They show you what kind of work they're doing with their head coach hiring.
Well, maybe give him a chance. You'll see what's happening. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe his dad will help him out. Show him the ropes a little bit. Was he ever a head coach before? Or is he?
No.
No? So this is his first go, huh?
I don't even think he's been a coordinator yet.
No?
No, like a full-on.
Like offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator?
I don't think so.
Wow. Oh boy. Ooh boy. I think you know what it is. I think someone needs to take down Jerry Jones. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
that's
I mean,
exactly
that's been-
what it is.
that's been
That's
the
exactly.
issue for a long time.
Unfortunately, I mean, he's been a great owner. I guess you can't complain too much. They've had a lot of success early on in his ownership, but he's another George Steinbrenner. Until he dies, no one's going to have control in that team, and they're just going to be. At least George Steinbrenner had a general. He'd fire them, but he always had a general manager. He didn't always agree with them, but this guy doesn't even have the brains to get a general manager. Just say, let me be the owner. Like, why do you have to be the general manager? Why do you have to be the president? Why do you have to be all that shit? We already know you're the owner.
Right, you're right. And it definitely messes up the chemistry of the offices and the front office and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like he's holding the team hostage.
Mhm. Yep. He's similar to George Steinbrenner. I feel like you said, George Steinbrenner at least had the GM, and the way George was is he would just run to the player and be like, "You're fired if you don't do this," or "You're fired if you don't do that. Like, I'll get rid of you."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas Jerry Jones is making this team up and picking coaches.
Jerry
and
Jones
this.
is like
He's even worse.
He's the opposite because he doesn't fire anybody.
Right.
He just hires these puppets that are gonna, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, whatever you want, and that's it. So you're just basically like a puppet on the sidelines, and he's pulling all the strings.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's all it is.
It's definitely bad. Oh boy. Well, I guess that's pretty much the last we're gonna hear from football for a little while, right? Everything's over. I'm already missing it, to be fair.
Yeah.
The football
That's
Sundays.
all.
Yeah, I'm already missing it. Like, this is actually the first weekend that we're not gonna have football, and it's already like wish there was football on Sunday.
I'll be honest with you, man. Like I think this whole Mets Yankees Soto thing is got me kind of looking forward to the baseball season because
100%.
I want to see what the hell's going to happen this year with this whole situation.
Me too, because that's what I was going to break into next was the baseball. Pitchers and catchers were reported earlier in the week, and they're everywhere now. Like, it's almost like they did it on purpose. Like, we're going to give the NFL like 2 days, and then we're going to come swoop in, and it's our turn to shine now for the next 6 to 8 months, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen. I kind of wish the Yankees would get still one more bat. I know it's getting late, but also you still have a little bit of time left. But we just saw Alex Bregman get a 3-year, $120 million deal.
What the hell? I slightly started reading the article on ESPN this morning when I saw it, and from what I saw, correct me if I'm wrong, they said that they signed him for $10 million per year more than anybody else offered him.
Yeah, well, only Detroit offered him a contract. I want to say it was a 6-year deal for $171, and he turned it down. But then took half the years for $120, which is $40 million a year. So I guess the other one was like a 30-year, $30 million per year thing. The only difference is with this contract is it's an opt-out.
After years 1 and 2, but
Right.
at $40 million a year, why would he freaking opt out? He's not going to hit 60 home runs and 160 RBIs and bat 340. I mean, that's the only way he's going to opt out of a $40 million a year contract.
They're basically, I guess they're both betting on each other. Like, for the Red Sox, all right, if he does really, really well, we should be doing really, really well. And then he was worth the $40 million. And if he opts out and tries to get more money from somewhere else, so be it. But if he doesn't, we still have him for 2 more years, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean? And he could also do what Garrett Cole did. Remember Garrett Cole opted out, but then opted back in?
Yeah.
I don't understand how you could do that, but apparently they did that. So, maybe it was just to make him happy. Like maybe he thinks if he has a monster year with the Red Sox, he could try and go get more money, and he's still relatively young enough. I think he's like 30 or something like that, maybe 31, somewhere around there.
Alright.
But like maybe someone will give him a 5-year now, $200 million deal, and then he gets what he really wanted. You know what I mean?
But again, he's going to have a monster year to opt out of $40 million a year for the next 2 years, right?
I don't even know if it has to be a monster year. It just has to be a very good year. Like if he hits over 300, has 20-something home runs, maybe 30, and have 100 RBI, over 100 RBIs, I think that's good enough for him to opt out and test the waters. Because like you said, he could always opt back in like Garrett Cole did. He opted out, opted back in, because Garrett Cole probably heard from his agent and was like, nobody's calling, pal. And he's like, oh, okay. And then went back. You know what I mean? So, and I never even knew that you could actually do that. And I don't remember, like, maybe you got special permission. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
But
something.
yeah, but if Garrett Cole could get that, I'm sure anyone else at this point now can. You know what I mean? So, it works for both sides. I'm just shocked that for three years at 120, there were no other takers for that for such a short-term deal. Like, I don't really care so much about the money per year. Like, I just don't want to be locked into like a 6-7 year deal that much anymore, or 10 years. Like, we always get burned with those at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it's true what I read this morning, that they're $10 million per year more than anybody else offered, that's saying something to me. But who knows? I mean, knowing the Red Sox, they'll be great. They'll have a great season, and like they were saying on the radio tonight, it's like, is this going to be the start of the Yankee-Red Sox rivalry again?
I heard that too. I just didn't hear. They're gonna have a segment with the Yankees after that. I didn't get to hear that part because I just got home and then that was it. But I guess we'll see, man, because Tampa didn't do much. The Orioles really didn't do too much. The Blue Jays did a bunch of different things, but they're the Blue Jays. So we'll see who's going to come out of the AL East. I still think the Yankees should have a nice season this year.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's going to be 4 games that we're really going to be worried about this year. It's the Mets-Yankee games. And I don't remember when they are, but they're usually in May and June, or June and July. So, that'll be interesting to see them play against each other after Soto going to the Mets,
Yeah.
And then just to see how the Mets overall are going to be all year. Because even with Soto, they only picked to have 91 wins. So...
Is that what their over-under is?
Yeah, so to me, that's really not much different than last year if you think about it.
91? That's
Yeah.
it?
Might have changed again, but last time I checked, and this was after Soto was already on the Mets, that's what they were going off at.
And
91 and a half.
And what were the Yankees at?
94 and a half, I think, maybe 95. So, like I said, the Yankees, their plan B, besides spending a lot of money for Max Fried, but it looks like he might be good for right now. They had a good plan B besides spending a little too much on Max Fried, but
Yeah.
they weren't. That signing happened because they weren't going to be denied somebody else. Like, that was their plan B, was to bolster their pitching staff.
Right.
The problem I have now with what's going on in early spring training is, Marcus Stroman's a no-show.
Oh, really?
He showed up on Tuesday for his physical. I guess past his physical, hasn't been there since. So he's in Tampa. He's just not showing up, unless he flew out or whatever he did.
Really?
Yeah,
That's strange.
it is. Well, they've been actively trying to trade him, which I ultimately don't understand why, to be fair. Because we always know pitchers go down, and he's the perfect guy just to fill in for that. So I don't know why you would try and trade him. Like, they wanted to shed some payroll, I get it. But, if you're not going to replace him with a bat, Like
if you trade him, you got to. I mean, I'm assuming you got to take on some salary in exchange. They're not just gonna.
Well, it depends what you're trading for, I guess. Like if you're asking for like low-level minor leaguers,
I guess
you're not going to take any of the money.
Yeah.
You know, you're helping someone get a pitcher that you might need.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not like the other sports where the salary's got to wash out and stuff.
No, yeah. So I don't really know. And I know like a week or so ago, he like took his whether it was Instagram or Twitter, I'm not sure which one, but he disconnected from the Yankees. So I don't really know what's going on with that.
Yeah, that's usually a clear indication that they're not coming back.
Right, but he's at some point he's got to come back because he's got a contract. Like, how does that work? You're just not going to show up at all? But then at that point, you have to trade this guy.
Right.
Like, you can't keep him because he doesn't want to play for the Yankees anymore. You know? I don't know.
What's the word with the Martian? Is he definitely going to be in the lineup this year?
It's looking like he's got to earn left field during spring training, and then he's going to be in the lineup. He's a full steam ahead. So I guess we'll see how spring training goes.
And who would you say he's fighting for that spot with?
I mean, they're going to have a bunch of rookies, or like the Oswaldo Cabreras of the world and the Peraza kid. Like, I know Cabrera is going for third as well. They still have Trent Grisham. That's the backup center fielder, so maybe he'll get some play in left field.
Oh, he's still on the team?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They just don't want to hand it over to him outright because...
He just annoys me so much, that guy.
What is it about him that annoys you?
The way he plays outfield.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, he's more of a backup for center field for Cody.
So, who did I hear the other day? I heard somebody on the radio the other day that they said, I think it might have been Evan, where he's convinced that the Yankees are, before the season starts, are going to sign Arenado.
I know. They're going to trade for Arenado. They're just working out the how much money St. Louis is going to take on. Because that was my point, too. Like, if you're getting rid of Stroman to get some extra money to go sign somebody else or whatever, then fine. Because you could always find a starter in your minor leagues for a little while, depending, or you could always trade for another guy. But my whole point is keep Stroman and go after that bat anyway. And I'll be honest with you. For me, like, I know Arenado's, like, really good defensively. Like, great, Gold Glove or whatever, but he's been steadily on the decline. Like, do you want another Josh Donaldson?
Yeah.
Like, is that what we want?
I mean, you definitely don't.
Right, but do you really... And this guy doesn't even want to come to New York, from what I hear. Like, he doesn't want any part of New York. So, like, why are we, spinning on tires on this?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's clearly saying that they have no interest in coming, then that's another thing that never works out.
Right, and, like, you could force him to play with us, but if he's not going to want to be here, he's not going to play that good anyway.
No.
You think he's going to have a resurgence with us? Especially when he doesn't want to come to New York? No. I don't think that's ever happened. I don't know. But what are they doing at third base? It's going to be DJ and Cabrera, basically, like, platooning at third base. Like, with all the money we spent, we don't really have a third baseman.
Chaz is definitely going to second, right?
Yep. That's what Booney was saying, our, manager. So I don't know. I don't know what they to me, they're a bat short.
Are you thinking now they should have kept our boy...
Glaber?
Yeah.
No. It's funny, I have a friend that is the only person I know that loved Glaber Torres.
I liked Glaber. I never had a problem with him. I thought he was decent. I never really had a problem.
He was
with him.
decent, you say? Come on, bro. I mean, how many times did we watch the Yankee game?
I really liked how well he was in the leadoff spot at the second half of the season.
Yeah, in September, basically. I have this fight with my friend all the time. I'm like, you're basically saying September and then October, which is fine, but there's 5 other months of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the funny thing is he basically had another chance at leadoff earlier in the year and was miserable at it.
Yeah, I know, you always say that.
Yeah, so it's like, good riddance, let Detroit. Maybe he'll do really good with Detroit and maybe get another contract. He only signed a 1-year deal too for $15 million. You know what I mean? So
who's going to lead off this year? Is it going to be Judge?
Oh, I would hope. I bet he better not. I don't know. It's tough. They're not really saying yet what they're going to do. I have a feeling they don't even know themselves right now. I have a feeling like spring training is going to dictate who's going to be their starters in the opening day and where they're going to be batting in that lineup. The only thing I can say for sure is Judge is going to be batting number 2 again because there is no Juan Soto anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now, conversely to going to the Mets, your team, Soto's going to be number 2, and then Alonso's, the polar bear, should be number 3. They should have the same script, the Mets, as the Yankees did.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I keep talking about. Like, they keep saying, like, why wouldn't the Yankees go after OMG, Vientos?
Yeah. Iglesias.
Oh, Iglesias.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they let him go, to be honest.
Yeah, they just that was earlier this week. They just said that, right?
Well, I don't think they've officially let him go, but I think they've kind of said how, we feel like we can better utilize that in
Roster
other
swap.
places. Right.
Yeah.
I think it might have been today. I don't know.
All I know is that they said they weren't bringing him back. So
Right. That you're right. That's been.
they said they're going a different direction with the
That
younger
would be a
kids.
nice little potential way to stick it to the Mets after the whole Soto debacle, right?
Oh yeah, nothing official yet.
No, the best.
Yankees having just as good a year, if not better, without Soto, and they brought this guy on, and he has another good year, for the Yankees.
I mean, he would have to pretty much play every day, which is not terrible.
And he could play. He's a third baseman, isn't he?
He's a second baseman. I don't know if he's a third baseman, but I know
Oh.
he's a second baseman. But either which way, I mean, he could probably adjust, whatever. But I mean, the better thing would have been signing Pete Alonso. That would have been a nice dagger for the Mets.
Well, yeah.
We just didn't do that. We went with Paul Goldschmidt instead.
Right.
And I feel like, I'll be honest with you, like, Paul Goldschmidt could have stayed out there till now. Maybe there's something we don't know. I don't know. Because that whole Pete Alonso thing is so weird to me. How nobody really wanted him. Like, there was no market for him at all.
I know.
And the funny thing is, you're going to see next year, there's going to be a huge market for Vladimir Guerrero.
Right.
Everyone's going to go for him.
Right.
Everybody. If he doesn't sign sometime this year with Toronto, everybody's going to want him. He's going to make probably somewhere between $400 and $500 million.
Nah.
100%. It's going to be a 10-year deal. You see it. You watch. Because remember, he's 27. He'll probably be 28 by next year.
Yeah, but and listen, I've always been a big fan of his. I loved his father.
I love this fella too.
I'm
I'm not really a big fan of him
I
because he
tried
hates
to
the
go.
Yankees.
Well, I'm talking about when he first came up before he was even popular enough to make statements like that. I was a really big fan of because I was a big fan of his father. I got into his cards when he was coming up into the league, so his rookie cards and stuff. I was all into that. But like every year, and he's had a good career, right? But every year is supposed to be like the year where he's going to break out. This is going to be the year where he breaks out, and it just never happens, right?
Yeah, you're 100% right. But his numbers are solid
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
he plays first base, which is not a primo position per se.
But he plays it well.
Exactly. Like, he's a gold glove caliber first baseman, which with the hitting on top of it, you won't have to worry about that for like the next 7. That's why I think he's going to get a 10-year deal somewhere. That's why I find it weird that Alonso, not to say he should get a 10-year deal, because he's a few years older. I think he's, 31? Right around there?
I think so.
Right. So I wouldn't assume that he'd get a 10-year deal, nor would I be the person to offer him a 10-year deal. But to have, like, this whole storyline of no one really interested and, like, all these rumors, like, oh, the Angels are going to offer him something, but never really did. Toronto was in on him, but never got a contract. And then the Mets wind up signing him for 3 years, $54 million. Like, they outweighted Scott Boras and saved $20 million, basically. You know what I mean? Because I think the last offer wasn't it 3 years and $90 million, then he turned that down. Then it was like 3 years, 70-something million, and he turned that down too, and then it went to 3 to 54.
Yeah.
And I think there's an opt-out after this year. There's an opt-out. It's for him. So like he could try the market again next year. Like to me, that nobody else wanted a first baseman that could hit 40 home runs a year. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And anything going on with your Mets that we need to worry about besides that?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't really been following baseball too much yet.
Well, there's really not much to follow right now, thankfully. But yeah. Anyone paying attention to the Knicks recently?
You know, I haven't done a lot of it. I mean, I know they won the last two nights.
Yeah.
But again, like we said, when it comes to basketball, we can pretty much. The Knicks are good enough now where we can wait till the playoffs. We don't have to worry about it because we know they're going to make the playoffs. So we don't have to get too invested in the season.
No, we really don't.
I know they lost to Boston on Saturday, which didn't really surprise me after they lost to the Lakers the week before.
Yeah, I mean that was surprising.
But as Ernie mentioned, you know, they won the last two games, so seem to be back on track for now. But you know, there's still a lot of games to be played.
What's funny is they have the All-Star break now, right, or something like that.
Is it this
weekend?
It's
coming up.
Or next week?
Coming up.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, they have it in February, and then there's still so much basketball left.
Yeah, because we talked about this last year in one of our episodes.
I'm sure we did. It bothered me.
That it's like nowhere near the halfway mark.
No. Well, I guess it is. It's actually passed because they only play 82 games.
Yeah, it's passed.
Yeah.
Last year, if I'm not mistaken, we talked about the same exact thing, and that after the All-Star break, there was only 30 games left in the season.
Yeah, and it's only the middle of February, yet basketball goes to June. And I'm like, what is going on? Anyway, I'm done with that. Whatever. Basketball annoys me sometimes, so I can't take it. I almost want to take up hockey and pay attention to hockey more than I want basketball at this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately the Rangers suck this year.
So the Islanders, so what?
Follow that shit.
No. But at least it might be a little bit better than basketball. Because like you said, we shouldn't have to pay attention until May, right? May is when the playoffs.
Yeah. And in all honesty, hockey is the same way because
right.
Pretty much everybody makes the playoffs in hockey.
But you know what's funny though? At least hockey, they get the shit kicked out of each other.
Yeah.
So like you could play 2-3 games a week. I'm okay with that. Like those guys should rest a little bit. Anyway, let's go to I guess some movies. There's a movie I want you guys to see. It's a low budget on Netflix. American Renegades. It's actually a really good movie. Did you ever hear the show Strike Force? I think it was on Showtime.
Was that the one with
Nobody famous was in that one. The TV show Strike Force or American Renegade? No one from what I remember was famous in that show, Strike Force.
What's the show that Steve Carell did from The Office?
Oh, that's Space Force.
Space Force. Okay.
Anyway, American Renegade, it was a good movie. There's not who's the guy that, I forget his name, it pisses me off, that does the State Farm commercials and was also in that movie Red One, that was Santa Claus. He was also in Oz.
Yes.
He's in that movie.
Okay.
He's like probably the one of the more famous people in that movie. But it's a military movie. But it's actually a really, I don't want to ruin the premise of the movie, but they're like Navy SEALs and they're overseas, and they gotta do some kind of bunch of missions or whatever. But it was very entertaining.
American Renegade?
American Renegades. Yeah, good movie. That's is the only movie I think I saw. Did you guys ever see The Conjuring? I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, I never saw it, but I was told to watch it, so I watched it yesterday in the afternoon while I was, off from work because I wasn't feeling well. And it's a true story. I didn't know it was a true story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like those people that are in that movie, what do you want to call them?
Family or whatever?
No, but like the people that do like they don't do the exorcisms, but they do.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I forget what they're called, but
Yeah.
they're real people. This is a real story that they told, and I guess they made a movie out of it. Plus, there's a bunch of Conjurings apparently, so I don't know if it's a bunch of their stories that I told people, and they wrote a movie about a bunch of them. There's like 4 or 5 of them easily.
Oh.
I don't even know if they're all the same. I don't know. As of right now, there's at least 3 that are all together. Because then there's a different. I don't know if it's a different Conjuring, but there's different actors in that. So I don't know if it's the same one or someone made a bootleg of it and tried to pass it off. You remember how they had the Halloween movies?
Yeah.
And then they snuck in some random Halloween movie and called it Halloween and had nothing to do with Michael Myers, and it was just some random witch thing or whatever. I don't know if it's one of those things is what I'm saying. But yeah, that's all that I've been watching.
I'm staying away from the horror movies. I don't know. They don't do anything for me.
I normally do too, but I don't know. I was told to watch it, so I watched it. Plus, I didn't have any other movies to really watch, and I've been looking, and it's just
Yeah,
I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I agree with you. I haven't been watching much of anything, but the few times that I'll go into bed, I'll throw it on and I'll go through the app to see. There's nothing that catches your eye.
No, it's tough. And I start picking random movies just to give it a chance, and I wind up wasting an hour and a half on a bad movie, which is fine because then I'll talk about it on here.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell people don't watch this movie or do watch this movie anyway. So I don't mind it per se, but you're oh my god, some of these movies, right?
Yeah, lately I'll put something on and then I'll wake up in the morning and it's at the end of the movie, but it's still on the TV. So I guess it wasn't that good.
Right. What movie I do want to see, hopefully before the next, well, it should be before the next show, but Guns Akimbo. It's with that Ratcliffe guy. What was his first name?
Harry Potter?
Yeah, let's just say that. The Harry Potter guy. Guns Akimbo. Yeah, I don't know. It looked interesting. I was watching the trailer. I'm oh, it's an action movie.
Is it something that's in the theaters?
No, it's on Prime, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a couple years old, but it looked kind of...
Really?
I think so.
I'm wondering if I saw this already.
Yeah. It looked interesting from the trailer. How sometimes you highlight the movie and they play a little clip of it or whatever like that before you go into it. I was looking at that. I'm oh, this is pretty cool. I was it looks all right. And it wasn't relatively long. It was an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think I might have seen it.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Now, for you Cobra Kai guys, I don't know if you guys watch it, but the new season, the last part of the new season dropped, I guess, over the weekend. So I started watching that.
Week?
Yeah, I guess this past weekend, I guess.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Either that or it dropped today. I don't know, because today's Thursday. It's throwing me off.
Right.
Sometimes it'll drop Thursday before Friday. Right. So I don't know, but it's the last 5 episodes on there. So I'm going to watch that the next couple of days and just get rid of it. And then I'm going right for, you weren't here for this, American Primeval on Netflix. Good show, supposedly. I hear a lot of good things about it, so I'm watching that next.
Yeah, I actually just finished it.
Yeah?
It was good. I think it's only 6 episodes, maybe.
That's it?
I think so. I mean, I might be wrong.
And this is the first season?
I think it's just a one-off.
Yeah, I don't know if there's... I mean, I'd have to check IMDb, but from what I was looking at, it doesn't look like it's going to be much more than that. But it's What is it? It's like a Western, right?
Yeah.
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 But it's a good Western, apparently.
Yeah, only 6.
Wow. So that'll be quick. I'll finish that real quick.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was well
American
done.
Renegades and American Prime Evil.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so yeah, I enjoyed that, and then I've been watching. I watched a couple episodes of the new season of Severance. So
How's that going?
It's good. I like it. I think I'm like 3 episodes in. I'm not sure. Maybe there's like 3 or 4. I didn't check that are out. So
Yeah,
far.
I'm waiting for that to be done.
And then I also watched this Adult Swim show. So it's like a cartoon or whatever, and it was called Common Side Effects. I only watched the first episode, but it was good. Mike Judge from Beavis and Butthead, he's involved in it in some capacity.
Right.
I don't know if it's as a producer or whatever, but
Right. Yeah, it usually is.
I watched the first episode and it was pretty cool. So I kind of miss having like a show that's like 20 minutes or like 30 minutes, right around there. 'Cause
Yeah, 30 minutes would be nice.
It's underappreciated in this day and age where it's like your attention span is, I feel like, going by.
Yeah,
the
so
moment.
you gotta watch Bookie, because those are literally like 30 minutes long.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are like 28 minutes.
Right. Oh, and that's on HBO, right?
The Sebastian Show.
Oh, you know what's funny? I tried watching that, and I was just like, maybe it was me. I was like tired or whatever I was. I was here on the couch, and I was just like, this is not even funny. I shut it off.
I mean, it's not like bust your gut, but for like when you just want to watch something, like I said, it's gonna take you 25 minutes to watch it. It's like,
You know what's also out too that because I'm pretty sure you watched it. Remember on Prime, Invincible?
Yes, the 3rd season's out.
Well, not the 3rd, but they did
new season?
the new. So I guess the second part of whatever season,
Okay.
season 2,
Right.
is out now.
Okay.
Because remember they did only 4 episodes up front last year, at the end of last year.
Right.
Now they dropped the other 4
I see.
recently, so I gotta get into that too.
Yeah, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Because I know we're into that show, and it's usually that's one of the crazier comic book cartoons I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
you ever watch that?
I haven't, but I've been seeing it popping up all over the place.
You should watch that. It's good, and I'm pretty sure those episodes are like 30 something minutes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're not long, from what I remember. But yeah, that's it, man. That's all I got for shows and movies. I didn't watch a lot last week. Not like the week before when I had like 10 movies I watched. You know? Anything for you, Ernie?
No, not really, man. I haven't been watching anything.
All right. Wander, take it away with your one. I know it's one.
It is one.
I know
You are
you're a
correct.
bastard.
Okay, just one pick this week.
And then we'll wrap it up.
Larry June, 2 Chainz, and The Alchemist with Life is Beautiful. So that's the pick for this week.
All right. Well, that about does it here, folks. Football's over. Baseball's starting. Spring is right around the corner.
Thank God.
And you know what that means? Oh, that's another thing before I cut this off. Full Swing on Netflix. Season is coming out.
Oh, really?
Real soon. It says coming soon, so I don't know. It should be at like any week now.
Oh, okay.
But with that also being said, golf is also around the corner. We're weeks away as long as it gets warm.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Enjoy. We'll see you soon.
Peace
Take
out.
care.
Later, guys.